Well, hello there, time travelers. Welcome to today's This Day in History. Today we're going back to 1170 when the Knights of King Henry II of England killed the Archbishop of Canterbury, Thomas Becket, in the cathedral. 1743 is when Hickathus Rickard, one of the most prolific and successful French portrait painters of the Baroque period, passed away in Paris. 1808 is when our 17th president, Andrew Johnson, and he was born, and he was the first ever to be impeached. 1 year later, in 1809, the British statesman William Ewart Gladstone, who served as Prime Minister of Great Britain for a total of 4 times from 1869 to 1874, 1880 to 1885, 1886, and 1892 to 1894. He was born on this day. The Annex of Republic of Texas by the United States, approved by the U.S. Congress on this day in 1845, sparked the Mexican War because land between Rio Grande and the Nueces River was disputed territory. 1865 brought us the alpinist cruiser William Lloyd Garrison publishing the last issue of the Liberator. The Liberator from 1831 to 1865 was the most widely circulated anti-slavery newspaper during the antebellum period and throughout the Civil War. It was published and edited in Boston by William Lloyd Garrison, a leading white abolitionist and founder of the influential American Anti-Slavery Society. Just 25 years later, in 1890, U.S. troops under Colonel James W. Forsyth massacred more than 200 Sioux Indians in the area of Wounded Knee Creek, southwest of Dakota, or South Dakota, should say. Just 5 short years later, in 1895, Lender Starr Jameson launched a failed raid into Trenville to overthrow the Boer government of Paul Kruger. Moving right along to 1936, when American actress Mary Taylor Moore, best known for her roles on 2 iconic TV sitcoms, The Dick Van Dyke Show from 1961 to 1966, and The Mary Taylor Moore Show in 1970 to 1977, was born in Brooklyn, New York. With the enactment of a new constitution, the Irish Free State became known as Ireland in 1937. West German Chancellor Erckland and President Johnson ended a 2-day conference in Texas with a pledge to explore all opportunities for improvement of East-West relations in 1963. 2 years before the turn of the century, in 1998, leaders of the Khmer Rouge, the radical communist movement that controlled Cambodia from 1975 to 1979, publicly apologized for the estimated 1.5 million people who were killed during their rule. The year 2000, the location, a suburb of Tehran. What happened? A soccer brawl spread off the fields and into the streets, resulting in damage to 250 buses and the rest of at least 60 people. One team owner blames the increased soccer violence on the ban on women's entrance to the soccer games. In 2009, Israel's Supreme Court ruled that Highway 443 running through the West Bank of Jerusalem should not have been closed to Palestinian vehicles in 2002 and gave the Israeli military 5 months to find a way to keep Israel safe and allow Palestinians to use the road. 2014 brought us a pact whereby Japan and South Korea would share intelligence with each other about weapons program in North Korea. Information is to be exchanged via the United States rather than directly. 2015 brought us Guyana being declared free of Ebola by the World Health Organization, some 2 years after the deadly disease was reported in the country and sparked an outbreak in Western Africa. 2020 is when French designer Pierre Cardin, a pioneer in the design of high fashion for men, passed away at the age of 98. And for the sports fans out there, 2020 is when Brazilian football, but here in America, soccer legend Pelé, one of the sport's greatest players and among the first athletes to become the global celebrities, passed away at the age of 82. And with this, we make it back to 2023 and our current history. Until next time.